Real estate agents, what is one thing that you can do today to immediately start to improve your social media results and your marketing efforts? Hi guys, my name is Jarvis. If you don't know me, I run Jarvis Media Consolidated. It's a marketing company that runs social media for real estate agents, creates their content, runs ads, all that good stuff. We've seen over 200, basically over 300,000 followers acquired for clients that we work with. Millions and millions of views and impressions on that content, and of course, many of our clients actually see upwards of about 10 qualified leads per day coming in from per month coming in from their social media content. So those are the reasons why it might make sense to listen to me. Now let's jump into what you can do to immediately see results on your social media efforts. So guys, I'm going to share my screen here, but really at the end of the day, it's really just about volume. And it's an inspiring topic to really talk about, but volume really is the gateway to seeing any kind of results. And I'm going to talk about why, but an amazing quote that kind of sums this up well is a Napoleon quote: "Quantity is a quality all its own." This just means that, before we jump into like, oh, how do I make the best stuff, or how do I get the best result, or like, what is my, target here, and all these other little things that are important, but doesn't really matter. It's like having a steering wheel and a shifter and a rear view mirror and having no engine, right? Until we do something, none of these other things even matter. So why are we spending all this time planning out what we're going to do when we don't even have the engine? And it really comes down to what a lot of people like to call, and I've used this term all the time too, analysis paralysis. And I actually don't think this is a really good term to use here. We all like to say analysis paralysis. I'm thinking too much about my content, or I'm thinking too much about what kind of tech I want to use, or cameras I want to use, or I'm thinking too much about what's the best topic, or I'm thinking about too much what's the best platform to be on. Guys, none of that matters. And the reason why analysis paralysis is not a good phrase for this is because it implies that there's analysis. It also sounds, flattering. You ever hear this? And I thought about this the other day on my walk, but it's basically, people will say, oh, I overthink things too much. And it's kind of a backhanded, not compliment, but it's a backhanded insult. And a backhanded compliment is basically just saying a compliment that's backhanded. It's really not a compliment. A backhanded insult, or critique, I guess, backhanded critique is really a critique that kind of sounds good. Like saying, I overthink things. Well, then you're kind of implying, oh, I'm doing something bad, but it's because my brain's too fast, or I'm thinking too much, or I am just so smart that it restricts me from doing anything. And I think that's kind of BS, because analysis paralysis would imply that there is an analysis going on. And to have an analysis going on, there would need to be data. Otherwise, what are you analyzing? And the thing is, if you're not making any content, and by making any content, I mean like maybe you post like once a month on like LinkedIn or something, that's essentially, I'm saying that's like nothing. That can work, but in most cases that I've seen work with real estate agents, I just looked through a list of like 100 realtors that I was reaching out to, and all their Instagram or LinkedIn pages failed. All their Facebook pages failed, the vast majority. So like, their accounts aren't even active anymore, or they set it up and they didn't finish it or whatever. So yeah, if you are posting one thing on social media, I guarantee it's not like a Mr. Beast style video where it's like all this time and effort has gone into one perfect content post. And if you think that you're doing that, I almost guarantee that you're not. So analysis paralysis isn't correct because there's no analysis, because there's no data, because you're not doing anything. And the second thing that always comes up is, I don't have time. It's also just not true. It's purely not true that you don't have time. We all have only 24 hours in a day. And that's the great equalizer among all the different people out there. So when you look at people who are top performers and who are also making a bunch of real estate content, it's like, yeah, okay, maybe they have a bunch of teams that help them make the content, but guess what? They're still sitting down and doing it. And the plan that I'm going to propose for you today to immediately start to see social media results is not going to require too much time, and it's not going to require a team or any resources other than a tiny bit of brain power and a little tiny bit of time, and a time that you can just carve out of your Netflix budget, that we all know that we're all spending. I do the same thing, by the way. I'm not talking down to anybody. I do the same thing. I always feel like I don't have time. And then guess what? I spent an hour on Netflix yesterday. I was like, that feels like that was some time I could have used. So this is coming from a place of love and my own experience and what I see a lot of real estate agents doing. So let's break this down. Making 12 bad posts. This is what I recommend to start to see great results on your social media. And specifically, making 12 bad posts now. So let's break this down. Why do we want to make 12 bad posts now? And why is that actually going to help us grow our social media? Well, first things first, make. I want you to make these posts. And when I say make these posts, I'm really heavily saying we should make video. Multiple reasons why. It's a much better way to create content in most cases. It helps you build your brand better. It helps get in front of more people faster, so you get better bang for your buck. And it also, if you're making short video content like Reels on Instagram or Shorts on YouTube, whatever, A, they can work across almost every platform, and B, it forces you to be concise. Being concise is something that I struggle with a lot. You can tell by some of my videos. I like to ramble. I like to talk. And being concise is a value because it forces you to get to all the point really quickly, which is helpful for the viewer and makes it so that the video is more valuable to them because it's not that you said this one interesting thing at one point in the video, but in fact that you got to that quickly so that they could move on. So when you're making the content, I highly, 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 highly recommend video. Honestly, don't even try this strategy if you're not making video because people, we'll get in our own heads about, and this is where the analysis, or really just the paralysis comes in, is that I don't want to be on camera. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but you're a real estate agent. Your face is your brand, and there's 1,000 of you in every single market. You have to be able to show your face. It's not that you're uncomfortable being on camera. It's that you're uncomfortable doing something you haven't done before, and you need to just kind of get across and start doing it because you're not going to get comfortable with something by not doing it. You have to just start doing it. So make video content. And the best way to do this, by the way, really quick and to the point, I'm going to actually link down below some of the best content topics, which are just in the form of questions that you can answer in a video that a lot of our clients use all the time to make some really high-performing videos. So no excuses there. Content topics are already done for you. So just read those into the camera, and that's it. So make the video content, just record it with your phone. I don't care about lighting. I don't care about sound. I don't care what your hair is. I don't care. None of those things matter. Nobody's thinking about those but you. And guess what, man? We all have, I don't have my phone in front of me right now, but we all have smart devices. And so imagine this is an iPad, but imagine this was a phone. I'm going to actually just show you what this could look like really quickly. If I can find my camera app. One of the questions that we do oftentimes, and you're going to see my my terrible setup, my messiness in the background here. So one of the things that we oftentimes do with our content is basically, what's the worst real estate experience that you've ever had? I'm going to change that for my own company because I'm not an agent, but let's talk about one of my worst experiences I ever had. One of the worst experiences I ever had with a client was I decided to listen to them in terms of what they needed out of their social media instead of being the expert and explaining what would help their business best. Because I thought, oh, okay, well, they must know, right? In reality, I needed to use my expertise to help them in their journey. And the problem with that was that we spent 2 months making content for them and we didn't get the results that were actually going to help generate growth for their business. And so at the end of the day, they decided, hey, you know what? This isn't the right call for me. I'm not seeing the results I need. And in reality, I knew the whole time that these results wouldn't work, but I was too afraid to tell them. So don't make the same mistake I did. If I can impart you with one little bit of wisdom in this really quick video, use your expertise. Tell the person, tell the client, tell the prospect what needs to be done to get them the goals, because you are the expert. You're the person who needs to tell them how to get them there. And most people will listen, some people won't, but at the end of the day, you can only help so many people. Hope this helps, guys. That's a perfectly valid video. That video works great. That was 60 seconds of my time. Off the top of my head, I had nothing of that rehearsed. You can probably tell by the ums and things like that I say in there. But that's a perfect example of making a quick piece of video content. And it's fine. It's a little blurry. The lighting's bad. It's a low angle. I probably didn't say it the best way that I possibly could have said it, but it doesn't matter because I got the video done. And then you just need to post it. Okay, 12. Why are we making 12? Well, the quick answer is volume. But really, you can just post these Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then that's a good amount of content. That's a lot more content than most real estate agents are doing. And especially when they're video content, it's video topics that are actually relevant to the audience and kind of gives them ideas about you or your brand, your expertise, or some way that you can help them. That will compound. That kind of volume, it might not seem like that much, but film 12 videos back to back and you'll say, okay, cool, like I'm done. And the coolest part about that is you just saw an example of me film this in 60 seconds. How much time is it going to take you to film 12 videos? If you're really diligent, it's going to take you 12 minutes. So it's only going to take you 12 minutes to have a month's worth of content. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, posting 3 times a week, 4 weeks in a month. That's 12 videos for the month. So that's enough volume. And also, it's way more than your competition's doing. So it's going to help you stand out. And it's not too much. I should say not too much. You can do this in 15 minutes, I guarantee you. All right, bad. Why do we want these posts to be bad? And it comes back to the analysis paralysis thing. Because if we want these posts to be good, well, oh my God, now I need the best lighting, I need the best microphone, I need the best script, I need to have like that little software that turns my phone into a teleprompter, is it the right day to post it, all this kind of stuff. Don't worry about that. None of that stuff matters. It's all 1% out of the 99 or out of the 100%, and 99% of it is just doing the darn thing. So I want you to make bad posts, because if you make them bad, then you don't have to worry about all that other stuff. And here's the secret: it's not going to be bad. There's a study where they basically had a group, and I'm stealing this from Alex Hermosi. He's got a great video on it, or a mini video, but basically they had a pottery class. They had people who and split into 2 different teams. One team for the semester, their goal was to make as many pots as possible. Do not worry about the quality. Make as many pots as you possibly can. It's like clay, making class, whatever, pottery making class, whatever. The other one said, hey, just make one pot. Make one pot in this entire semester, but make it the best you possibly can. Guess what ended up happening? The team that was designed to make as many pots as possible, they ended up making obviously way more volume, but also better quality by the end of it, because they had the reps, they had the amount of time, they were able to do it so many times that they couldn't help but be good at it, because you get better at things that you do over and over again. So they got better by default. And the team part of this class that made one pot, they only made one, and it wasn't even that good. So that's why I say make them bad, because all that means is that you don't have to worry about it being good. And that is going to help you actually get it done and get some reps so you can actually start to get better. That's the only way you're going to get better, is by doing it a bunch of times. So make some bad content. Now, posts, you need to post it, okay? And that's going to be hard for people. Now, you can be diligent and make the videos ahead of time. And this is really important. Just make the videos right now, right after this video, or even stop this video. I don't even care. Make your videos right now. Your 12 posts, take 15 minutes of time that we all know that you have. Make those 12 videos and have them in your phone and just post them Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You can do that. Most people are probably going to drop off that or forget or then overthink it and fall into that whole gambit, right? We don't want that. So what you can do instead is you can go on to Meta Business Suite and you can post to Facebook and Instagram if they're hooked up together, which hopefully they are. You can post to your page and to your Instagram. They can be Reels, and they'll be just as good of quality as if you posted them natively. You can post those immediately, and you can schedule them ahead of time. This is free. This is just a free software. To go to Meta Business Suite, just Google that, and it should pop up for you. If you're unfamiliar with that, you can use a tool like Hootsuite or Buffer. Those cost money to schedule those out. And if you want, you don't have to, but shameless plug, I'll have a link down below to the Jarvis Social Manager. It's in its beta. By the time you're watching this, maybe it won't be. So, we're ironing out the kinks, but you can get 2 weeks of this for free. So get this software for 2 weeks for free, and then it's $100 a month if you decide to keep moving forward, but you don't have to. But at least try that out. Schedule out your content. And by the way, if you don't sign up, chances are, we're a small team, we'll probably just let it run the whole week anyway, or the whole month anyway. Probably shouldn't say that, but whatever. So schedule out all your content. That will take a tiny bit of time to become familiar, but then once you're familiar with whichever tool you're using, then you have that knowledge forever. That's called building a skill. It's a great use of your time. Or you can post it natively Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whichever is best for you, but I highly recommend, if I can get my pen to change, scheduling. I also can't spell today. And I say do this now. Do this now. I cannot tell you enough how much, and I do this all the time. I have every morning I wake up and I start my day and I have a whole list of things I get to. Guess what I get to? The first half. Guess what I don't get to as often? The second half. So just do this now. Prioritize it now because you know this will start to build better results for you. And guys, if you post this now, if you post this to all your platforms, let's say every video, you only get an average of about 100 posts or 100 views per video. Listen, that 100 views per video, that is still not a bad metric. And a lot of people might get that in the beginning if you're just starting out because you haven't had a whole lot of time to build this algorithm out. But if you get 100 video views per video that you post, guess what that means? If you posted 12 videos, that's 12,000 views. So either you have, that could be three different things. That can either be 12,000 new people, in which case you just gave a TED Talk style conference speech to a whole new audience, a bunch of people. You basically just were a keynote speaker to a 12,000 person auditorium. That sounds awesome. And guess what? It was free. Or on the far end here, that was all, let's say that's like 12 different people, probably not likely. Let's say it's 100 different people and, they each saw one of your videos. Okay, that means that 100 people saw your videos and they saw each video, so they saw your content, your brand, your messaging, your personality 12 times. Well, there's a marketing rule of 7, which says that, somebody needs to be familiarized with your brand like at least 7 different times, at 7 different occasions for them to actually purchase the product or to take the next step in whatever it may be. So guess what, man? You already done that. You've done that almost twice by introducing your brand to somebody 12 times. And by that point, especially if you're making the videos using the content topics we've seen a lot of success with right down below this video, then, hey, man, like you're going to have a foot in the door of this potential client, this potential lead who may say, hey, I want to work with this person. And like that story you told about how you helped that client in that particular situation, that was very similar to me. Or, oh, hey, I could really use that. I love the experience that you talked about. Or I love how you talked about this mistake that you made. Now I know you're not going to make the same mistake. Or I love how candid you were and you weren't just making content trying to sell me. You were just talking about you and your experience. I want to work with a human being, not a sales robot. Let me work with you. So that's the benefit. Even if only 100 people saw your post and they saw each one, then great. And then here's the third thing, which is a combination. It's some kind of combination of both of these, in terms of how many people saw your content versus, how many people saw your content really. If it's a combination, then great. Then you get the best of both worlds. You got in front of a lot of people and they saw you a lot of times. That's awesome. Then you get the best of both worlds. So guys, I hope this was really helpful. I mean, at the end of the day, I wish it was a cooler, sexier thing, but just make 12 bad posts now. And I guarantee at the end of a month, once you've seen the results of these, I guarantee you that you will have reached way more people, you will have furthered your goals, and you will be more calloused and more experienced with making content, so it won't be such a trial and tribulation to make more content in the future. Guys, I hope this was helpful. If you want to click the links down below, check out Jarvis Social Manager, or just reach out to us, schedule a time on our calendar, talk about if maybe we can help you create content, run your ads for you, and I'll see you in the next video.